Hello and welcome back to another part of Design Your Own Level tutorial. In the previous tutorial we had some difficulty setting up our chair as we ran into some problems with designing the normal maps, and then just in general it was a fairly lengthy process to get this to look good. But that's what I do believe, it does actually look good. We can maybe touch up on some of the normal maps a little bit later on, like I particularly want to delete that line and that line. And we actually got into why we had some texture distortion because we only had a normal map set up for one particular part of the model. And there's a little bit of a bug over there, but that's okay. I can deal with that. So what we're going to do now, and this is going to be a fairly easy process because we're just going to use reference from this part over here. We are going to set up our bottom part here. Now, considering that this is like a full-on metal piece that is going to be the similar color to this, it should not be that difficult. So let's just jump straight into it. Alright, looking at our original model that we created here, we're just going to select the bottom piece and then actually just go over to the texture that we created for it. And there it is. And I'm just going to click Save Image As. And chair bottom diffuse, we'll save it as. Jump over to GIMP. And I don't want to close anything yet. I'm just going to, I think, open completely new chair bottom diffuse. There we go. So now this is the chair bottom part. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to reference our roughness map, the sides over here, and we are going to reference our albedo map. There we go. Now, in all honesty, you don't need the metal or the roughness map for this particular piece over here. The reason why I'm saying that is that the only thing that will really be a different color is the wheels, and you probably won't notice them all that much. So we can essentially get away with just using the albedo color. So I'm going to first try that and just see what that looks like. So I'm going to go on there we go, albedo final. I'm just going to use the color swatch here and just get that color. And essentially, I'm just going to fill all of these. So one thing that we can try quickly is I want to select the empty space with the fuzzy select tool, and then I'm going to go invert selection, and let's do the, okay, well, let's try the paintbrush on, no, let's just keep it safe, and we're just going to color fill these. Whoopsie, let's zoom in, there we go. Alright, there we go. So essentially, if you look at it from any standpoint, this is our texture done. So I'm going to click File, Export, and I'm just going to call this chair bottom albedo. But now you might think to yourself, the previous part was so difficult, why is this so easy? Well, in the previous part we had to create a normal map for and create a texture for the lever piece, which we did separately. So in this part, if we go now into Blender itself, oh sorry, Unreal Engine 4, and we can import that texture that we created. I'm going to go over to Materials. I'm going to create, I'm just going to call this, rename this one to chair top matte, and new material, chair bottom matte. We're going to open that one, jump over to texture, and going to drag that one in and feed that into the base color. Click Save. and we're going to drag the material onto that. And there we go, we got the material, but now it doesn't have the same reflective values or anything like that. So in order for us to fix that, we can literally just go into here. We can set right click and type in constant. We can set constant values, metallic. I think we set metallic on 0.5 last time, so we'll do that 0.5. And then roughness, constant. Roughness we're going to set on, I think it was 0.6, if I can recall correctly. If I click apply, and we can go back and we can just quickly look at it. It's not quite the values. Let me just go back. Alright, so we can keep trying to change these values, or we can just go back to GIMP. And because we're trying to go for a bit more of a uniform look, because it is like the same color essentially, I can just use that, and I'm essentially going to fill all of these. Nice. With the darker color, which we're going to hook up to both the metallic and the roughness map. And this actually gives us a chance to set our wheels to like a completely different type of color. So what we want to do is, it's going to be non-metallic, so we're going to set that to full on white. So let's grab a full on white, and I'm just going to fill these. Then we're going to hit, make sure everything's done. I'm going to hit File, Export, and we're going to call this, I'm going to call it NORMALMAP, because we're going to use it essentially because it's like half values. It's going to be the same for metallic and roughness. I'm not too sure on the wheels though. That's something that still gets me. Alright, I just have to apologize. In the last half an hour, like 10 cargo planes have come across my house. I don't know what's going on. So alright, so let's just go back to Unreal. I'm going to go to textures and import, and we're going to import that one, drag that into our material slot, and we're going to feed that into the metallic and feed that into the roughness. Okay, so now we should actually get something that will look fairly similar to the top part. Here we go. And actually, if we look at the wheels, we could have set their value as something else, but they are like completely matte. They don't have any reflective value on them whatsoever. So we can actually maybe go back and then just, I don't know, make them slightly, we're currently on white, and wow, okay. We're going to need something along the lines of a gray. Actually, I have gray here on the side already selected, so I'm going to grab one of those. There we go. And I'm just going to override that one. Jump back into Unreal. I'm going to delete. And re-import that one. Now notice that once again, as I said, we didn't really need a texture for the roughness and the metallic map. We could have just tried to find the values inside of Unreal Engine 4 itself, but as the values weren't really lining up with what I expected them to be, it was taking a bit too long, so I just decided, okay, let's just fill it with a color and just be done with it. Alright, so now we can see, okay, so the wheels have a slight reflective value on it now, so that is a little bit better instead of being like pitch black. There we go. So that is essentially our chair done. This was a very long and tiring process. It always seems like this is the most basic item in your entire level, but it's not. This chair, I do believe, if we actually go back to like all the items that we listed, so that's chair done, all the items that we listed, even though it doesn't look like it, the chair over here was probably the most complex item that we created so far. Everything else is fairly easy, just standard shapes, and the chair was the most mechanical of everything inside of this level to thus far. So it was a difficult process. We did manage to finish it, so I'm just gonna end the tutorial here by saying, if you liked it, you can leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike, leave a comment, and please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.